All right, guys. So as I said earlier, today's webinar is going to be a Q&A only webinar. I know that sometimes on here we'll have guest speakers or we'll have teachings and things like that, but I haven't had a straight Q&A webinar, I don't think, since we've started this deal. And I've got quite a few modules in the course now, and so what I'd like to do for the next hour is just go ahead and answer questions. If you can keep them to my section of the course, that would be awesome. It's not that I don't understand the other stuff. It's just that it would be better if we kept it kind of in my part. If you really need to have something answered that's covered by Alex or Gregory or one of the guest coaches, it's probably best to ask them. But for today, I'd like to thank everybody again for being on and for attending. And if you want to just go ahead and start filling it up, the question box, then I will go ahead and start trying to do my best answer. And so we're going to keep this pretty close to an hour today, guys. So, there's not a million people on today, which is awesome. The smaller the group, the better for those of you who chose to attend. So if you have a question today, man, today's the day to answer it. All right. There's less than 100 people on this webinar right now. So if you've got a question, go ahead and answer it or ask it. Remember that I'm the only person that can see the question you're asking. So if you feel like it's dumb or you're embarrassed or whatever, don't let that dissuade you, okay? We have all kinds of different levels of experience in here, and so please don't feel shy. All right? All right, so let me just go through say hi to a couple guys. Hey, Mark. Hey, Nick. Hey, Rob. Hey, Anthony. It's always cool to see the people on the webinars that are the people who are in the group. I always like to see that because a lot of times the questions that get answered in the group are people that haven't watched the training or they don't attend the webinars. And if you have a question from the training, this is the place to do it, because the Facebook group, we try to do our best in there, but a lot of times there's answers that are not simple. They're complicated and they have lots of exceptions to them. And I really would just hate to tell you something, and not be able to give you the full answer. So, all right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start. There's a couple of questions in here already. Again, if you're just jumping on, this is going to be a Q&A webinar, so please feel free to ask away. All right, so the first question is going to be, Michael asks, how do we determine a monthly fee for keywords with less than 10 searches a month in the Google Keyword Tool? That is a great question, Michael. And so a lot of things you're really going to have to look at when it comes to pricing. It'd be nice if there was a one-size-fits-all. That'd be awesome for us, but there's not. And so I got to tell you one thing at this kind of juncture, okay? And I am going to answer your question the best I can. But I will tell you, there's lots of clients that will not justify an account with you, okay? There's a lot of people out there that just the call volume or their average profit per transaction or profit per sale is not enough to warrant them paying you, okay? So I want you to understand that up front. If you have a client and, they just really don't have enough search volume, or prices aren't high enough to justify using you, then, ethically the best thing to do is just, let them know that and move on. Don't charge someone a monthly fee for something that they're not getting a return on investment on. Okay. It's just not good business. It's not ethical. It's not moral. And so don't do that. So first I just want to tell you, sometimes, you're going to try to make a round peg fit into a square hole. Okay. Sometimes you get a lead and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. And, maybe it's the only lead that you have, or maybe you just thought it was really good. And so you beat yourself up and you spend hours and hours and hours and days, trying to make this work, when the reality is you figure out pretty quick that there's just no return on investment. Okay. So, I'm going to answer your question in two parts now. All right. So the first thing I'd like to tell you is that when the volume doesn't justify a monthly account, then you absolutely could do a one-off, as we call it. Okay. So guys, give me a 2 if you don't know what I mean when I say a one-off. Give me a 2 if you don't understand what I mean when I say a one-off. Okay. All right. Good. So, and guys, remember, I'm the only one that can see the answer, so don't be shy, right? All right. When I say a one-off, what I'm referring to, think of it like, for what we do, like an a la carte menu. Okay. So when we do client SEO, what our goal is to find clients who have enough value and will get enough of a return on investment from us that they will pay us a monthly retainer fee basically forever. Okay? So if you're doing client SEO and you do it like 99% of the client SEOs do it, you are looking for clients who are in competitive niches and where there's traffic and value. Okay? And you're doing that because, you want someone who is going to understand the value in paying you forever. So, if you get 10 clients that are paying you $2K a month, okay, and that's what, $20K a month, okay? So a lot of people here, their goal is $10K a month. So, if you can get, 5 clients, 5 clients paying $2K a month, then you've hit your $10K a month goal, okay? And so that's why, you're going to want to try to get those accounts that have that monthly recurring fee to them, okay? But the reality is that, especially when you're starting off, you're not going to be able to get those accounts, okay? It's going to be a lot harder. So what you are going to be able to get is one-offs, which means that you can charge them a flat fee one time to do certain things for them, okay? And so this is something, that I did a lot when I first started. And this is something that I do. I help my students with a lot. I actually coach in a couple of other programs besides this one. And so, that's something that you're going to want to look at. So what you're going to do basically is you're going to come up with a, basically like a pricing chart, okay? And you're going to say, you know what, Mr. Customer, I'd love to charge you for a monthly account, but there just isn't enough search volume or there isn't enough traffic value to justify that. So what I am going to do for you is I'm going to give you a good, firm establishment online, okay? And that's like a house, right? If a house is built on a proper foundation, then, all the other stuff on top of it is going to work. Same way with SEO. If you have a business and they're online and they get set up properly with the proper foundation, then they are going to rank very well, okay? And then all the advanced stuff that you want to do is going to stick really good. So I'll tell you that I typically charge anywhere from, I think, $1,800 is my lowest that I normally do, up to about $4,800 actually. If I remember correctly, my pricing charts are basically $1,800 to $4,800, okay? And then I have a chart that says, for $1,800, here's what I'm going to do, okay? Let's say I'm going to do 30 citations, and I'm going to do your on-page work, and I'm going to set up, a YouTube channel for you. And, right? So you basically are coming up with a list of things that you're going to do one time, okay? So they're going to pay you one time, say $2,000. You're going to do these things for them, and then technically your relationship with them is over, okay? But the reality is that that's not true, because once you have established a good relationship with them and you've delivered what, you have been asked to deliver and done it in a professional way, then that's a permanent potential client for you, okay? So, one-offs are great. It's a good way to get a foot in the door. It's also a good way to get businesses who will refer you, okay? So that's kind of answer number one, okay? So I want to go back because several people have joined since I started answering this question. I'm going to read the question one more time so you'll know kind of where we are. So the question was, how do we determine a monthly fee for keywords with less than 10 searches a month in the Google Keyword Tool? Okay, so now the next part of the answer is going to be, you're gonna another strategy that you can follow is to look for just a ton of long tail keywords. Okay. Or, things like that, like in the Facebook group today or sometime this week, it actually came up and someone mentioned, hold on a second, wrong browser. Let me pull up this one. And someone mentioned a question kind of like this. So let me show you something really quick. So let's just say, for instance, okay, let's say that our keyword was, Dallas plumber, okay? And that's all we could find, and Dallas plumber didn't have a huge volume, okay? Then, actually here, let's just do this. All right, so let's go to the keyword planner. All right, hold on one second. Sorry guys, give me 1 second on my login. And then I'll show it to you real quick. All right, guys, I'm back in. Guys, give me a 1 if you can see. Give me a 1 if you can see the screen now. All right. Hey, everybody. Okay, good. All right. So as an example, right? So I can come under here and let's go to search for keywords. Okay. So let's say that, again, let's do Dallas plumber. All right. And let's see what, I'm just going to use just the basic options. Okay. And let's see what comes up here real quick. All right. All right. So a couple of things here. All right. So Dallas plumber, right? First of all, right. 320 searches per month. All right. So, that's not a whole lot, right? All right. But as you're looking here in the keyword tool, again, you're going to see a bunch of these terms, right? You see all these long tail terms, right? You see a lot of these, okay? Now see like this, emergency plumber Dallas, okay? Plumber, right? You see a bunch of these, okay? But what you don't see in here, or what you're typically not going to see, is you're not going to see buyers keywords, okay? So what you're going to look for over here, hold on a second, let me see if it's in here. Nah, it's the same thing in here. All right, so what you're gonna look for, hold on 1 second, let me see if it's, no, it's not. Okay, all right, so let me show you what you're gonna do. What you're gonna look for things for is like broken pipes. Okay, so people who have broken pipes are looking for a plumber, right? Or they could be looking for a plumber. Give me a 1 if you get that. Give me a 1 if you get what I'm saying there. Okay, give me a 2 if you don't get what I'm saying there. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. So broken pipes, leaky faucet, right? All right. And so again, sometimes fixed shower, leaky bathtub, okay? So all of these keywords in here, right, are Dallas plumber keywords, right? All of these, okay? So that's kind of what you're going to do. So let me go back up here real quick. All right, Michael, was that good? Let me know if that was a good answer to your question. All right, perfect. All right, and guys, if you ask a question and I don't answer it, don't feel offended or anything. Don't get mad at me. What I do is, we only have an hour, so I'm going to go through and I look for questions that are things that multiple people are asking, and almost 100% of the time, there's at least 3 or 4 people asking the same similar question that I can answer. So that's why I'm going to do it. So let's see here. All right. So the next question was Anthony. Anthony asked if I do any affiliate SEO. Yes, I do affiliate SEO. I actually, well, let me clarify that. I don't actually really make a whole lot of money with affiliate SEO, like where I'm the person doing it, but I do rank a lot of properties for people who do affiliate. So I would not be the best person to talk to about like how to pick offers and all that kind of stuff, right? Because I just don't do that. It's not my thing. I make a ton of money doing client. And the thing about affiliate is there's nothing wrong with it, but affiliate offers come up and down like crazy. So my tolerance for that is 0. I don't have time for that. Okay. I have the exact number of clients right now that I need to make the exact amount of money that I want. And if I want to make more money, all I do is I go get another client. If I want to make more than that, I go get another client. If I lose a client, then I just replace the client. And I'll tell you, if you pick your clients properly, you're hardly ever going to lose them. The only time I lose clients is when the company gets bought or the company, like switches to another business model, or things like that. I don't ever get like fired because, there wasn't a good return or because I wasn't doing my job, because I do my work up front. I make sure that before I take on a client, I make sure that both of us can win. I make sure that there's enough traffic and value to where the client is going to love me and have a big smile on their face every month when they write me that check. And of course, it's going to be a check that I'm going to be happy with, right? So, I make sure, and it takes me a lot of time to do that, guys, okay? So don't think that I can do this in 3 minutes, okay? The most valuable skill that you will ever have in client SEO is pre-qualifying clients, okay? And let me say that again. The most valuable skill you will ever have in client SEO is pre-qualifying clients. Because between you and me, prospecting is easy. Prospecting is easy. Getting people in is not hard. What's hard is spending the right amount of time on the right client, okay? Because, what you're wanting, is you wanting those, at least $2,500 a month and up clients, okay? You really don't want to mess with a whole lot of low dollar clients. It's okay in the beginning if you're learning and things like that, and that's fine. But if you're going to do this professionally, and you're going to invest your time and your energy in it, and it's going to pay your bills, you don't want to mess around with cheap accounts. Okay, what you'll find out is that the $500 a month people wear you out. The people who are paying the big money, the 5K, the 10K a month accounts, those people are not the people that wear you out. So it's kind of ironic in a way that the people that pay you the most money are the ones that are the best clients, but it's really true. All right, so let me go on to the next one. Mark asked about Cloudflare. And so that's a good question, Mark. You said, should I be using it? Well, that's up to you. Cloudflare, guys, give me a 2 if you don't know what Cloudflare is. Give me a 2 if you don't know what Cloudflare is. All right. Give me a 1. Okay. So most people here do. So I'm not going to go into a huge discussion about what Cloudflare is, but Cloudflare has multiple uses, okay? So some people use it as a content delivery network, meaning that it helps you cache your content on local servers so that it's served up in a geography that's close to your clients, so it makes your website faster, in other words, and your users have a better experience. So that's one reason to use it. Another reason to use it is for security, because there's certain protections that you can add. Another reason to use it is because Cloudflare will give you an IP address. So you can use it in a way, to get a free IP, whereas typically you'd have to pay for that, right? For a hosting account. For your own IP. So, should you use it? I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not sure why you're wanting to use it. Is there anything wrong with it? No. Cloudflare is one of the many different things that I believe all of you should be doing to diversify your money sites and your PBN sites. Okay. And so, I would say, so basic answer to my question would be, sure. It can be part of your strategy. Just make sure you understand it. There's a couple of things with Cloudflare that people don't understand, and, they read an article and it's not really thorough. If you're trying to hide PBNs on Cloudflare, just as an example, you need to make sure that you get a good article on how to do that, because there's some footprints that your standard article won't know about, like your MX record, as an example. Your MX record is your mail record. And if you set up Cloudflare the way that it's just normally set up and you use it on a PBN, then there's still a footprint because your mail record will still be to the original hosting account. So anyway, that's kind of technical. But if you're interested in doing Cloudflare, we probably will add that to the training at some point. If it's not already there, I don't think it is. But it's a great way to diversify your IPs for your PBNs. All right, next question. Mark Davidson. Mark asked, haven't really reached your sections, but what areas do you specialize in? Hey, Mark. I am in the client SEO section. So in this course, that's what I specialize in. The reality is that I've been doing SEO for about 11 years, and I pretty much know everything. As far as areas, as content areas, I could teach any part of this course competently. But what I'm being asked to teach in this course is specifically client SEO. So think of me as the guy who's going to help you, hopefully, get some clients and rank some local websites. So that's basically what I'll be doing here. All the rest of the stuff, if it's not one of those two things, probably it's going to be Alex or Gregory. So let's see. Nick, as a newbie, when should you start setting up your PBN? Should it be linking to your SEO services website? Well, Nick, there's a lot of different strategies, and really I can't answer that straight out, but I'll tell you this. I would go ahead, if I were you, I would go ahead and start setting up your PBNs, okay? And as long as you have them properly protected from spiders, like using a plugin like Spider Spanker or using an htaccess file, which I believe Gregory provides one of those in the course, then sure, it's safe to link to your SEO services website. But I would make sure I would segment the ones that are going to your SEO website, because if other SEOs want to reverse engineer you, your SEO website is not going to be hiding. So even if you're using something like Spider Spanker, really, if the SEO is any good, he can still find your PBNs. Okay, especially if they're linking to your website. Now, if they're linking to your money sites, it's a lot harder. Okay. But when it's going to your SEO website, it's actually fairly easy for someone that knows what they're doing. All right. So yes, I would go ahead and start setting up some PBNs. But if you're going to start with 5, I would say, maybe use 2 of them to start trying to rank your SEO site and leave the other 3, to use with clients. All right. So I hope that's good. Let me go through. Let's see. All right, Chris. Some of my competition has citations from foreign Yelp sites for his U.S. address. Should I try to do this to compete with him? And if so, how do I go about it? That's a great question, Chris. This is something that most people don't know about, so I'm glad that you asked it, because everybody can learn from this. Yelp and a lot of sites like Yelp, what they're going to do is they're going to include your local address in every version of their directory, okay? It's not 100% of the time, but it's in the 90th percentile of the time. So if you have a Yelp address in the U.S. somewhere and you go check Yelp Asia and Yelp Canada and Yelp Australia, 90% chance it's there too, all right? Because they will include it in all of their directories. So the answer is you don't need to try to compete with him on this, and it's just going to happen automatically, okay? Now, listen, and just so you know, duplicate citations from the same directory are not making you more powerful, okay, just across the board, okay? Some people have tried to get all kinds of tricky stuff to try to get multiple Yelp listings and things for the same business. There's no point in it, so don't waste your time with it, all right? The best thing to do is to make sure that the Yelp that is in your location is absolutely properly optimized, so you can not only have it as a powerful citation, also as a powerful tier 1 property to link to, but also you want to rank on Yelp, okay? So there's no reason, almost all of my clients, if there is a Yelp listing on page 1, you can actually see my clients in the address of the Yelp listing because I get them ranked there. It's fairly easy to do. So, all right, let me go on to the next one. All right, next question was by Lauren, and it says, there was a webinar on May 13th, which Mike Long covered how to rank YouTube videos. I was on the webinar and have been looking for the link to the replay. Lauren, I don't know where that replay is. I'm going to guess that it's probably in the members area somewhere under the guest webinars. If not, ask in the Facebook group and someone will know where it is. Okay, I promise. And that was a good friend of mine, actually, Joe Morfolio from OMG, who was showing a method to do Wirecast, is what you're talking about. And so, ask in the Facebook group. I'm sure someone will find it. And Lauren, if nobody finds it within a day or two from when you post, ping me in that post, tag me in that post, and I'll get it for you. Okay. It was good training. Joe's a great guy, and his training is really good stuff. All right, let's see. Robert, if you were starting over today and you had to choose a name for your SEO business, what would it be and what types of words would you like to put in it? That's a really good question, Robert. I'm glad you asked. The most common thing that people do incorrectly when they're looking to brand their agency or their SEO business is they get caught up in the word SEO. And really, you can absolutely rank with an exact match domain or a partial match domain, and they're fantastic for that. But what I'd like to submit to you guys is I'd like you to think a little bit more long term, okay? So let me tell you what I would like for you to use as your name for your SEO business. The best thing to do is to choose a name that is rebrandable for anything you want to sell. So let me give you an example. Robert Roy asked this question. So how about Robert Roy Industries, Robert Roy Solutions, Roy Enterprises, Roy Consulting, RR Consulting, okay? And the reason why is because, you know what? you can kick ass with any of those domain names in Google, right? And also, if you decide you want to do web design, boom, done. If you decide down the road that you want to become a dentist and you go to dental school, guess what? Boom, it's a dental site, right? So that is what I suggest to you. I suggest that for your first business name, that you go ahead and you pick something that is easily rebrandable, okay? And that's I have been doing business for a little over 20 years, and I own multiple I own multiple corporations, LLCs, and a corp actually. And boy, I have saved myself so much time and money by doing this. So real quick, Robert, did I answer your question? Let me know real quick because this was important. So drop that in there. Okay, good. And so guys, I want to ask you here real quick. Give me a 2 if you understand, if you know what a DBA is. When I use the term DBA, give me a 2 if you understand. All right, give me a 3 if you don't understand when I use the term DBA. All right, so let me go over this real quick. So those of you that do, just hang on with me give me 90 seconds, okay? And I'm going to go over this real quick. So in the United States, if you want to do business, the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and set up a company as a legal entity, meaning that you would set up a limited liability corporation or an actual corporation, okay? There's different legal formations, okay? Each of these things will cost you hundreds of dollars to do. And what this does basically is it provides you legal protection, okay? And it protects your assets, all right? And I'm not going to go into all that. But so, for instance, one of my businesses is Floyd Consulting, okay? One of my legal entities is Floyd Consulting. Now, when Floyd Consulting wants to sell a specific product or service, it then goes to the county clerk's office and it registers a DBA, or fictitious name certificate. And DBA stands for doing business as. So that means that one of my brands, for instance, is Innovate Marketing, okay? So how that would be handled, it would be Floyd Consulting, doing business as, or DBA, Innovate Marketing, okay? And the benefit of that is that every time I want to sell something new or something different or move to a different area, all I have to do is go to the county clerk's office and pay them $15, I think is what it costs. And now I have a new way to receive money. I can then take that DBA and go get a checking account, okay? So now people can write a check to Innovate Marketing. Now my company and my protection still comes under Floyd Consulting, okay? But Floyd Consulting can have an unlimited number of doing business as. So it could be Floyd, dentist if I wanted to become a dentist, right? So anyway, that's why I highly suggest that that's what you guys do for your business formation, okay? Is choose something like that. Now down the road, if you want to choose something that's more memorable, or catchy or trendy or whatever, then by all means do it, okay? That's great too for branding, right? Because the disadvantage to what I'm suggesting to you is that you always have to tell people what you're doing. If it's RR Robert Roy RR Consulting, then you have to explain, I do online marketing or whatever. So you have to add to it, okay? But I highly suggest that you do this at least once. All right, let me go to the next. Let's see. Look. Let's see. Hey, Bert. I don't think I can answer your question on this webinar. It's kind of long. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bert. I can't answer your question on this webinar. It's too long. It would take me probably an hour. But I am going to add some training that's going to cover it. Okay, I promise. That'll do that. Okay. So I just can't. I'm sorry. It's just too much. There's too many variables to answer that. So let me go on to the next. All right. Mac asks, is making my city SEO site that's not in a big city and ranking on page 1 a good way of getting clients? Honestly, the value of that is probably a little bit more, probably a little bit less than what people make it out to be. Ranking, number 1 for, Chicago SEO, St. Louis SEO, Miami SEO, those do have a ton of value, okay? But if you're ranking number 1 for SEO in a tiny little city, the chances of you getting, a lot of business out of it, really, really slim, okay? But the reason why you want to be number one if you're in a little city is for proof, okay? So, I'll tell you, I live in a city called Frisco, which is a suburb of Dallas, all right? And my site is always number one or two. It's for Frisco SEO, SEO Frisco, SEO in Frisco, blah, 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 okay? I have not done anything to that site ranking in, I think maybe since 11, 10, something like that, okay? Now, I'm not bragging, guys, okay? I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm cool because I ranked for, a little city. But what I'll tell you is the value is this. So, let's say that I'll give you an example. One time I was sitting on a pitch, right? And I'm talking and there's a bunch of people, there's 6 people basically, talking to me about my proposal. And I knew because one of the people was kind of a friend of mine from church. And so he told me that there was some other people that were bidding. And he told me a couple of the companies. And he told me also that one of the other people was kind of voting for, this other company, right? And not me. So when I went in to do my proposal, I said, oh, okay, it's interesting. I said, I understand that you have some other proposals coming in. I'm very familiar with the, all the people that do this in Frisco. Who else is, bidding, if you don't mind me asking? So they told me, and I said, oh, that's interesting. So I went to Google right there live with everybody watching, and I typed in that business and SEO, right? And, they were ranking for their name, right? Okay, right? But then I typed in the city, right? I typed in Frisco SEO, and I said, well, that's weird. I don't, let me look, let me scroll down. And of course they weren't on page 1, right? So I scrolled down and, I take a really long time to get through this, right? And I'm like, well, that's weird. I don't see them on page 1. So I'm kind of confused. You know what? Google might be messing up. Let me look. So, I scroll back up to the top again, right? And there I am, number 1 for Frisco SEO. And I go, no, Google's working. There's my site right there, right? And then I just kind of mumbled almost a little bit. I don't know. I'm confused. So they want you to pay them to make you number 1, but they're not even on the front page. And then I just kind of sat there with kind of a dumb look on my face. Okay. And if you were there, it was really funny. My friend that was in the room, he was cracking up, but I think, guys, give me a 2 if you understand what I'm saying right now. Give me a 2 if you get what I'm saying. So that's why you would want to do it, right? And so really, if you're in a small city, right, and you're not number 1, then you're suspect, right? Seriously, you're suspect. If you're in a little city that has 10,000 people and you're not number 1 for SEO, what are you even doing with your life, right? You should totally be, right? So, all right. So let me look here. Let me go on to the next one. So I hope that was helpful. So again, Mac, to kind of summarize, you're not going to get a whole lot of traffic from it, but it's a great way of proof. Okay. So definitely rank, if you're in a little city, definitely rank it. In fact, if you're in a little city, rank everything. Okay. You should own that page. You should rank a video. You should rank, a Yelp page. You should rank a couple of citations, no problem, right? You should own that page. All right. So let's see. Next question. Lee, when are you supposed to be using a proxy? Only when working on PBNs and the hosting for them. Man, that's a good question, Lee. That's a really, really good question. This is one of those things where it's really going to depend on who you ask, right? A lot of people are going to say a whole lot of different things on this. So, there's people all the way on one end that say, that's a bunch of BS. You don't need to use proxies, when you're doing your PBN stuff or VPNs or anything. And then there's people all the way on the other end, that have tinfoil hats, right? That are like, oh, you must do all these things and have this list of 8,000 things, okay? So I can tell you this. My actual kind of what I'm kind of famous for in SEO is PBNs. So I don't know if you guys have been in the game long enough, but back last summer, about a year ago, there was a major Penguin update, and it wiped out 90% of the SEO's PBNs, except mine, because I set mine up differently than anyone else does. So when that happened, I went out and helped a bunch of people that you would know by name fix their networks. One of them you'd know really well if I said his name. Hint, hint. And I made a course on it, a real cheap little, I think it was a $50 course on how to set your courses or your PBNs up so they don't get de-indexed. Because to date, my first PBN was in 2005, and I still have all of them. I've never lost one. Now, I've gotten rid of some of them because, they've lost their power, but I've never had one killed by Google. So I will tell you my answer. What I will do is this. When I am working on a PBN, and I'll tell you, I don't do this much anymore because I have VAs. Okay. I don't do a whole lot of the day-to-day tasks that SEOs do anymore because I just don't need to. But occasionally I will, and a lot of times I'll do things just to stay sharp, right? I always, from time to time, I want to stay active so I understand what's going on. I don't want, my workers to be out there doing stuff and, I'm completely out of touch. So I'll tell you how I do it. What I do is this. I have multiple VPN services that I use. And a VPN is simply a virtual private network. You can there's many different ones. The most popular one I think is called HMA, which is Hide My Ass. Okay. And that means that for a monthly fee or an annual fee, you will log on to this service and they will give you an IP address that is, not the one that is normally associated with your computer. Then you can open up an internet browser and you can open up your PBN and your hosting and all that stuff and just do what you need to do. Okay. Now I'll tell you, I also have several VPS, virtual private servers that I use. So today, if I were going to work on one of my VPNs, what I would do is I would log into one of my virtual private servers. Okay. So VPN is simply a way to connect to the internet differently than you connect. A VPS is an actual another computer that you log into. Okay. So, but I have multiple VPSs because I run software. So most of the time if I want to work on a site and I don't want to be found, I will from my computer log into my VPS, which I have one in France, I have one in Russia, and I have, I think, 2 in the US. So if I don't want to be seen, I'll log into the one in France or the one in Russia. Okay. And then from there, I will log in, those all have proxies on them. So I've got like 3 layers of security there. Okay. So I know that was a long answer, but here's the short version. The short version is, my opinion, to work on your PBNs, if you're doing it yourself, I would at least log into a service like Hide My Ass when I do it. Okay? Now, here's the key to this. When you're doing something like that, there's things that you have to do. Okay? One of the things that you have to do is make sure that all of your browsers are closed. You have to make sure that your email is closed, okay, and a bunch of other stuff. The second thing you're going to want to do is use a tool like CC Cleaner, okay? And CC Cleaner, what it's going to do is you're going to hit a button on there, and it's going to go through and it's going to clear out all of your cookies, all of your passwords, all of basically your footprints, okay? If you're using a password manager like LastPass, like I do, it's not a big deal, okay? But it's going to clear out all of your saved passwords, all right? Then you're going to use a browser that's not Google Chrome. Okay? So I would tell you to do this today. Buy an account with Hide My Ass, okay? Or there's one called Private Internet Access that I think is $35, and it's just as good as far as I can tell. So just Google Private Internet Access. A lot of people that you do file sharing use that. So you're going to close all your browsers. You are going to run CC Cleaner. Then you are going to open Private Internet Access or Hide My Ass. Then you're going to open a browser, not Google Chrome, and then do your work. All right? So again, we could have had a whole training class just on that question, but if you do those steps that I just told you in order, you should be fine 90-something% of the time. Okay? There's always a million different ways that you could get caught doing all kinds of different things, but frankly, Google does operate on math, and so the smaller your network, the harder it is to be found. In the beginning. So that should do it. So let's see. Lee, did I answer your question okay? Just let me know real quick. Just pop it in there if it's good. Lee, are you still there? All right. Well, let's go on to the next one. Hopefully that was good. All right. All right, here we go. All right, sorry guys, I got to scroll back up again here. All right, Mac, is it possible to rank a local site without address and citations, just with PBNs? I'm asking because I want to start a site and then rank it. Yes, it is possible. I don't suggest it, and the fact that you asked that question means you haven't watched my training yet, so go watch my training. Let's see. Mark asked, is that what happened to Cotton? I can't remember where we were in the conversation, But Cotton was turned in is what happened to Cotton. And that's a whole other conversation. And, but don't worry about him. He's just fine. What you guys don't know is that Cotton has probably close to 50 sites that are not, on Google's radar that are ranking all over the place. So, and he's a very smart guy, and he's perfectly fine. So don't worry about it. Let's see. Let me go. Anthony, when you build PBNs, do you use spun content or buy content? Do you only buy PBNs that have a relevant history / links? Another great question. I do not. So do I use spun content on PBNs is challenging to answer because I do on certain parts and I don't in others. So let me tell you how I set mine up initially. The homepage is going to have usually 3 articles that are stickies, and that's where my links are going to go, okay, most of the time, okay? But I am going to feed content to pages that don't have links using an automated service, and those are spun, okay? So I am going to cover that later in the training, but one of the quality signals to Google for a website is that it has fresh content. But spun content is a negative ranking signal. So the way I get around that is I will send spun content to a specific category on the website if it's WordPress, and then the spun content all goes nowhere near the links, and so you get the benefit of having the fresh content, but you don't risk penalizing your links. So I don't know if that made sense, but if not, don't worry. I've got future training coming on it. All right, it'll make sense at that point. And then the second part was you only buy PBNs that have a relevant history / link. You said the word only, so I'm going to say no. But I will tell you, if you buy relevant PBNs, you're going to have a whole lot better result than if you don't. Okay? So, the holy grail of a PBN would be an auction domain that's never been dropped, that is already ranking for keywords that you want to rank for, okay? That'd be the holy grail. That's the ultimate thing that you want, right? With a whole bunch of good backlinks that are relevant, okay? So that's what you're really, really, really looking for, okay? Because remember, the power from a PBN, and you may hear different things from different people, but trust me on this one, the power from a PBN, 99% of it comes from the links pointing to it, okay? So if you have a domain and it's dogs.com and there's backlinks pointing to it that are about automobile repair, okay, and you point that to a site that's about dogs, you're not going to get a very good return from that, right? Even though it's dogs.com is your PBN, if the links all pointing to are about auto repair, you're not going to get a good result pointing it at a dog site. But if the name, but same example, if it's dogs.com, all the links are auto repair and you point that to an auto repair site, you're going to do fantastic. Okay? So, Anthony, does that make sense? Let me know, Anthony, if that was cool. All right, good, man. All right, let me keep going through here and try to get as many as we can in here. And guys, I'll try to go over sometimes, but my daughter, today is her 7th birthday. And there's 8,000 little girls in my house right now. My wife is wrangling them all alone right now. And normally this would be Gregory's webinar, but he is on vacation. So I'm jumping in. But I'll try to stay longer than an hour most of the time because I know you guys, I really appreciate, when you take the time to be here, then, it makes it worth my time to be here, right? When you guys come on, I appreciate that because it shows me that you're willing, it's a Friday night. If you're willing to come in on a Friday night and sit on a webinar with me, then that tells me that you're dedicated. And if you're dedicated, you're someone I'd like to help. All right, so I appreciate you guys being here. All right, so let me see here. All right, next question, Mark. Is linking to your money sites from self-hosted PBNs with diversified anchor text in relevant iWriter articles more effective than renting PBN links, or should we be doing both? Mark, that's another great question. Man, you guys are killing it tonight. You're asking some really good questions. So here's the thing. You have to understand that a lot of times people who are giving you advice are selling you something, right? Give me a 2 if you understand that. Give me a 2 if you get that a lot of times the people who are giving you advice are giving you advice because they're selling you something somewhere else, right? So their advice is only going to be, it's not going to be as good as somebody who's not selling you something sometime, right? So Let me answer it this way. Let me go here back here. Sorry, I got to scroll back. Okay. If I were starting SEO today, and I was looking for the most effective strategy, I have one word for you. Okay, I have one word. So should you be building your own or should you be renting? I have one word for you, Mark. It starts with a T and it ends with an E. Anybody want to guess? Anybody? One word, starts with a T, ends with an E. Anybody? Boom. Robert, you got it. The word is trade. The word is trade. So, man, seriously, guys, you're in a group like this, right? You're in a group like this. If you will go out and let's say you spend $100 or a couple $100 and you build a couple of decent PBNs, okay? Right? And then you go out and, you guys know you can get away with, 20 links on a single page typically, right? If it's a halfway decent PBN, okay? So somebody who's good at math, tell me this. If 10 of you each have 2 sites that can hold 20 links, how many links can each of you have? Anybody good with math? Exactly, Anthony. A lot of links. Exactly. Anthony nailed it. A lot of links, right? Now, someone who's better than me at math could probably tell me the answer to that, okay? But that is my answer, okay? You guys, listen, life is not a single player sport, okay? And neither is business, okay? I know you guys, a lot of you are in here and, you may see some of the other people in the university as competition. Forget about that crap, okay? There's no competition in SEO, guys. Listen, if everyone in university moved to Dallas where I live and every one of you became a multimillionaire from selling client SEO, right? Let me say it this way. If every one of you moved to Dallas and did client SEO, everyone in Source University could be a multimillionaire from SEO and none of us could ever touch each other's, step on each other's toes. Give me a 3 if you understand that. Please, guys, give me a 3 if you understand that. There is no competition, okay? Forget about that. It's BS. There's no competition. There are every single business just about in the world, right? Just about every single business in the world needs what we sell. Okay? There's like 1,200 people out there, right, in this group, okay? So please don't think about competition and please don't think like with a lack mentality, okay? And I'm not going to use psychology on you or anything, but I just want I want to tell you, you need to be thinking about partnering up, okay? And I don't mean necessarily like legally partnering up, okay? But if I were a member of Source University and I'd been doing SEO for 6 months and I could go back in time and talk to myself and give myself advice, I would tell me to partner up. I would tell me to find 5, 6, 7, 8 people in this group that don't seem like, that seem like good people, right? And trade, man, just trade. That's what I would do. Okay. So, to answer your question, Mark, directly, really, you ask, is it better to have your own PBNs or to use links? Well, it depends on the quality of your PBN and it depends on the quality of the links you're renting. So I really can't answer that. Personally, the only time, let me tell you when I rent links, and some people may kill me for saying this, so don't repeat it even though this is recorded. The only time I would even consider renting links is to test things, okay? I may rent some links, like if I have powerful links that I know work that I can get, and I've got a new keyword I need to test or a keyword's, falling around or something, I may rent some links. But over time, it's stupid. There's no reason to rent links. It's just not. It doesn't matter what they're charging for the links. I can always make it cheaper myself. I just always can. So, I hope that answers. Mark, I didn't exactly answer your question, but was that cool? Is my answer cool with you? I mean, because listen, I'm telling you, there's plenty of people in here to trade with, guys. There's plenty of people in here to trade with. And not like this is the only place to trade with, okay? But that's what I would be doing. All right, let me get to, let's see the next one. All right, hold on. All right, let's see. David asked about a piece of software that I don't think we train in this course, so I'm not going to answer that question. Because here's the thing, guys. So, everybody that's on here, I've deleted a couple of posts over the last couple of weeks. Please don't answer a question in our group with the sentence, "I heard this in another Facebook group." Okay? Please don't do that, all right? And I'm not trying to be derogatory toward other people or other groups, but I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that 99% of the other people in other groups don't have a freaking clue what they're talking about, okay? Not trying to be a jerk, but most of the Facebook groups that talk about SEO are people who talk about theory. They don't actually rank people, okay? So please, please, please stop doing that. It's just, I don't want bad information to get out there, and I know that people that are doing it have a good intention. I know that your intention is to just share something that you think will be helpful. But please, if it's not taught in this course, let's not talk about it in this course. You guys can do whatever you want through private messaging or other groups or whatever, but in this group, please, let's keep it, in this group. Let's see. Let's go. Let's see. All right, guys, sorry, I'm going through. I'll try to be fast. Let's see. Hey, Samuel, thanks for asking about my PBN training, but it's for sale still, but I don't really promote it anymore, so I just, that's kind of a conflict of interest, so I'm not going to answer that. It's still out there. I think it's $50 still. If you guys find it, that's cool, but I'm not going to promote it here because that's just not what I'm here for. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, Mark is linking to your money sites from self-hosted PBNs with diverse side. I'm sorry, it's the same one. I don't know if you put it in there twice or if I just read it twice. Okay, Mesky asked for my money site. He basically asked about the different metrics, PR, TF, etc. Okay, so here's the thing with metrics, guys. Don't get too caught up in metrics. What metrics are is a starting place to drill down on. Okay, that's what metrics are. So everything PR, TF, DA, PA, whatever you want to call it, those are places to start looking with. Okay, but really, 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 what you're looking at, if it's a money site, you want it to be absolutely spotless as far as the backlinks, okay? So, obviously you're asking about metrics, so you're talking about buying an expired domain. So that's the main thing when you buy an expired domain that you want to use as a money site. You need to run that sucker through 4 or 5 different tools, backlink tools, and make sure that it's clean. Run it through the web archive tool. Make sure that it was never used as a spam site. If you don't have access to some of the tools that are paid, you can go on Fiverr and you can get people to run you a single report of various tools for $5. Okay, so if it's going to be a money site, it's worth an investment. So go spend $5 to get a complete Ahrefs report or a complete Majestic report. Okay, so the most important thing that you're looking at really is just that it's clean. Okay, PR is almost completely irrelevant these days. If you cared about metrics, the thing that most people would tell you right now is you're looking, really the most important kind of signal is trust flow, okay? And the thing you have to remember at trust flow is trust flow needs to be fairly close, or citation flow can't be significantly higher than trust flow, okay? So if you buy a site and the trust flow is, let's say, 20, and the citation flow is, say, 40, you really need to look at that site, because what that tells me is that it's probably got spammy links, okay? Because remember, trust flow means basically it's a score based on the authority and the trust and the quality of the sites linking to your site. Citation flow is merely the volume of sites linking to your site. So logically, if you think about it, if you have a much higher volume of sites linking to you than a volume of high trust sites, what that tells you is that you have a high volume of non-trust sites, right? Which is a spam signal, all right? And so rather than looking at specific metrics, I really would just look at the backlinks and make sure that they're clean. Let's see. All right, let me go. Thank you for the happy birthdays, guys. Appreciate it. Mac asked about, do I build personas to my PBNs? Yes, if you took my course, it would blow your mind. I actually, in my course on PBNs, and this is what I actually do, guys. So, this isn't something I tell you to do and I don't do. I actually build out a complete persona for each individual PBN. And that persona includes about 10 different things that I do. And so if you were to take one of my PBNs and throw it into the knowledge graph, it would look like a real person. and that's why my sites don't get hit. So let's see here. Again, thanks guys for the happy birthday wishes for my daughter. I appreciate it. All right. All right. Oh, Robert. All right, guy. Another great question. Robert said, with your PBNs, how many topics are you having? All right. So that's a great topic. That's a great question. Okay. So here's the thing with that. So let me give you what normally you're going to want to do. And guys, if you haven't listened to anything that I've said so far in the webinar, please listen to this part because it's very, very important. The single most important factor in your PBNs right now is theming. Okay. So, you want to have relevant backlinks, obviously, right? And if they don't have relevant backlinks or at least good quality backlinks, you're not going to use it for a PBN. Okay. But so we're going to assume that we have some decent backlinks to it. Okay. And they're not spamming. The next thing is theming. Okay. I'm telling you, if I showed you, and I can't because I do testing, but I don't do testing that I do in public. And, that's the reason that Cotton Grammar's site got hit, because he used it to show people in public a lot. Okay. That's the most famous site in SEO history. Okay. CottonGrammar.com is the most famous SEO site in history. And he knew what he was doing when he did that. Okay. So it was all planned, calculated. He knew that eventually it was going to get taken down. Okay. So he's not breaking, nobody's breaking their heart for Cotton. It was a calculated business move. All right. But I can't afford to, show money sites, right? But let me tell you this, what you would find. If you gave me 10 PBNs and the backlinks and the metrics were all the same, okay, and I pointed 3 of them that were themed to a money site versus 7 that weren't, it'd probably be about the same power. Okay? So let me say that again. If I had 10 PBNs and all of their metrics were identical, trust flow, DA, PA, age, backlinks, okay, but 3 of them were themed content-wise to match the money site and 7 of them were not, I would bet you money that the 3 that were themed would increase their rankings as much or more than the 7 that were not, okay? So I hope that answers that question. It's extremely, extremely important. Okay, so for 90% of my PBNs, I have them on a single topic. And remember, when you're theming, guys, don't forget your categories and tags. Okay? If the site is about dogs, then, a site about dogs is going to have certain kind of categories and tags, right? It's going to have, if it's a dog, everybody uses the classic dog training example, right? There's going to be puppy training. There's going to be adult dog training. There's going to be leash training, right? There's going to be treat training. There's going to be, right? So make sure when you're theming these PBNs that it's not just the articles you put on there, but the actual categories and the tags, and the alt tags and the images, right? And all that kind of stuff, okay? So make sure. So I would tell you, if you're starting off, I would stick with and I guess, listen, I understand that when you theme it, you lessen the ways you can use that PBN, okay? But also, too, remember, the way I teach you in this course for client SEO, I teach you to buy the PBNs with the client's money, okay? So give me a 3 if you understand what I just said. Give me a 3 if you're there. Give me a 4 if you don't. Give me 4 if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so a little bit of both, okay? So, when I get a new client, okay, so if I get a new client that is let's say he's an optician, okay, he's an eye doctor, right? I don't take my PBNs that I already have and turn them into optician. Holy crap, I can't talk. I don't take them and turn them into those types of sites. Okay, I will go build sites that have that theme. I will find expired domains that have that theme. Okay, and I will buy them with my clients' deposit money or their campaign launch money. Okay, so I'm not wasting those. So guys, give me a 3 if that makes sense. So if I just had to go out and just randomly hope that the way I'm theming these is good, that would be expensive, but I'm not. I'm not building them until I need them. Okay? So so the answer is that most of the time I will theme them. Okay. So let me go. Let me do, it's straight up, but let me do a couple more, okay? Let me do a couple more. Let's see. Okay. Austin asked about, he said, do you have specific citation requirements you send it to your outsourced help? Yes, I do, and I am going to include that in the training too. I'm going to add that on. Now, if you've watched my citation training thus far, you have the foundation of what I do. And, what I do, as far as I know, no one does what I do unless they're copying me, because I've been doing this for a long time. And if they are, that's cool. I'm okay with that. I want people to do what's good. I don't care if they copy me. But, the way I teach in the course is to go to Whitespark, find out who's already ranking, and then get those citations first. Okay? So that is a big, 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 big thing to do. Okay? Too many people will tell you to just go buy a citation freaking pack on Fiverr or some other random citation service. Okay? Don't do that. You're wasting your money. It's not as good. The guys that I use on, I guess it's Upwork now. It used to be Odesk. They charge me $1 per citation. Okay. Now those are people that I trained. All right. So, if you want to be able to train people, you're going to have to know how to do it. And so that means that you're going to have to do something that I say. And if you've been on my webinars before, you will have heard this. You have to be able to inspect what you expect. Okay. So let me say it again. You have to be able to inspect what you expect. Give me a 4 if you get what I'm saying. It's very important. Give me a 5 if you don't know what I'm saying. You have to be able to inspect what you expect. It means that if I hire someone to build citations for me and I have never built a citation, I cannot tell whether or not they did a good job. All right. Now, everybody that put a 5, do you understand now? Everybody that put a 5. Okay, good. All right. So, what I would suggest that you do is I suggest that before you hire people to build citations, that you go build citations. Okay. You go do it yourself. I don't mean that you have to build 1 million citations. All right. But you need to have a black belt in Google My Business, Bing Business, Apple Maps, and Yelp. Okay. You need to have a black belt in those 4 at a minimum. You should be able to talk someone through setting those up in your sleep, okay? Because the rest are all easy, all right? Those 4 that I mentioned have different ways of verifying, and they're the most important, okay? So those are things that, you really want to, keep track of, all right? So teach yourself. Once you're an expert at it, then go out and train someone to do it, and then have them do it for you. Because so far, I haven't found a service that's as good as me training people. Okay, and I'm sure that it's possible, but I haven't found one yet. Let's see. All right, Mesky, and I'll make this the last one. Mesky is asking about CPA offers. And so, basically, the steps to this, and I don't know if this is covered in any part of the training, but CPA actually can be very, very cool, and that's cost per action, which means that you get a fee every time a client or a customer takes an action, like clicking on a link or watching a video or something like that. The first step, really, I would tell you, Mesky, the first step is to really, really, really understand CPA marketing, okay? So before I built a website or before I signed up for any networks, I would probably go and, get some very specific training, okay, on CPA, because CPA can be very lucrative, but it also can be a huge waste of time and energy if you don't know what you're doing, all right? So that would be my first bit of advice, is to really, really dive into CPA and figure out what you're doing as a business model, all right? Okay, so... All right, I think that's going to do it, guys. So we're a little bit over an hour here. So again, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming in. I appreciate you taking the time here on a Friday night to spend it with me. And so, on the future webinars, guys, come ready, right? This one was a last minute, so I didn't do my normal thing. But, be thinking about it. Be thinking about what you want to ask and this kind of stuff, okay? And remember, if you don't get something answered in the group, it's not necessarily because it wasn't valuable or whatever. It's because it may be that, your question shows that you haven't gone through any of the training. And so, like, if you ask a question that's like in Module 1, I'm probably not going to answer it, guys, just to be honest with you, okay? I want you to do your work, okay? I'm a coach, which means a coach, doesn't do the work for you. They help you improve the work you've already done, right? And guys, I'm telling you, There's lots of great courses out there, and you guys all know about OMG. There's a big, huge promotion for that last week, and it's awesome. I'm in it, and it's awesome. But I'm telling you, you have everything that you need in this course to get to 10K a month and beyond. I absolutely promise you that, okay? The stuff that I teach you in this course is just as good a quality, just as actionable as the stuff that I teach in courses that cost, thousands of dollars. I'm not exaggerating, okay? My personal students have used methods 1 and 2 in my client getting. All of them have gotten clients with that. 100% have gotten clients with that. Some of them have never left methods 1 and 2, and some of them are making, 20K, 30K a month now. Okay. So remember, please don't think that that's not possible. Please don't think that that can't be you. It can be you. Okay. There's nothing magic about me. There's nothing magic about Alex. There's nothing magic about Gregory. Okay. I'll tell you one thing that I've done, though, that most people in here haven't done yet. I've done my time. I've done my work. Okay. I work my butt off in the beginning, right? And so now I don't work so hard. But, I ate up SEO training for years and years and years and years and years. All right. And so, that's what I want you guys to do, because I'm telling you, there's nothing better than being an SEO and being a client SEO. It's the best occupation. It's the best job that's ever been invented, because it allows me to work about an hour a day, and I'm not exaggerating. And, those of you who may be going, sure he does. You don't know me, because I do. I work about an hour a day, Monday through Friday, and that's it. And I make a very, very good income. So I have lots of time with my friends and family. And, I'm living a life that a lot of people only dream about, but there's nothing special about me that's not special about you. Okay? So if that's what you want, if you want to work a little bit and have lots of money for, and lots of time for family, then follow the course. It'll work. You know what? If you're a single guy or whatever and you just want to kill it, you want that Ferrari, you want that Lamborghini, then go get it, man. Go get it. I'm telling you, man, it's here. All right? Don't look other places. Don't worry about other things. Go through the training here, apply the material, and you can get where you want to get and do what you want to do. This training that you're getting today is 1,000 times better than what I had when I first started. If I had this, my learning curve would have been cut 10%. I mean, I would have been here 100% faster. It'd be crazy. Okay? So again, appreciate you guys. I hope that you are getting value from our group as a whole. And I hope that, you're getting value from the Q&A Webbies. The next webinar, I believe, is going to be next week. I don't have the schedule up, and it should be Gregory for the rest of this month, because typically he does 2 and I do 1, and mine's at the end. But you know what? I may jump on or whatever, and I got to tell you guys, I've got some guests planned that are going to absolutely blow your mind, and they're not selling anything. Just guests. I have some guests that are they do just some really cool stuff, and because they're my friends, they're going to jump on and they're going to train you in some stuff, and it's going to be really awesome. All right, guys. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and I will see you all next week. Take care.